That is not a drone. 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 That is not.
There was probably at least 50 of them playing peekaboo behind this tree and behind the semi that was parked over here. There was some communication and floating back around happening right here. And then we saw them triangulate in the sky in a pattern, and they would shift together and move as if it was a drone show. Towards the end of our engagement, probably a few hours in, we saw them slowly drift up into the sky at a further altitude, and then they took place of a constellation and remained stationary. Now at the time, there was another couple parked in the car right here and a gas station attendant that all came out and was watching what we were doing, and they got to witness the phenomenon too. So we had 3 other witnesses which we didn't know, we had just met, and then we were all experiencing this for hours as they did this performative act in the sky, floating back and forth, going in and out. The ones on the ground were communicating. And I want to add too that the bush I was walking behind is taller than me. So whatever was above the bush had to be over 6 feet and hovering as it hung around this grass area right here. So whatever it was, and I think in hindsight we realized that when they formate into a line like that, they can morph into a disc, because we had an experience on this road trip where we watched them morph into a disc. So we think right here it was actually a disc sitting out in this grass field while the rest of the performative act was happening up top. And then again, we had some single orbs playing peekaboo back here that kept winking and coming out behind the bush and then going out behind it. And it was very aware of us observing it, and it was observing us at the same time. And there was a consciousness tied to it as well, because we found out in our experience that we don't really have to go looking for these things, that they appear in our line of sight. So they're very aware of our perspective and where we're looking at the time, and we don't have to go seeking it. So when the first orb appeared up here, it knew that I was watching the dog and appeared right above it so it could catch my attention. That was before it really kicked off and put on its show. So I actually had to cross over a barbed wire fence to get to where we were able to get a visual on the orbs. And it looks as if they were probably all behind these trees back here in this vicinity, in this area. At least that's the perspective it was given to us. It's hard to tell because the depth perception issue with viewing these things, it's almost like looking at a holographic. When you're observing them, they give you this 3D, 4D effect. So it is hard to judge just how far away they were, but from the video, which I'll link here in a second, I'll post next, it looks like it was all back here, and you can see there's nothing back here. There's no reason. There should have been a bunch of lights. We probably counted up to 50 that were on the ground right here and simultaneously in the sky, just maybe a few hundred feet to 1,000 feet up. I mean, very low. And then we watched them ascend up into the atmosphere and form into a constellation and other geometrical shapes. So very interesting. Wow. What the fuck is that? And it keeps following the same pattern. Right to left, right to left. Fades out, fades out. 2 of them. Holy shit. Wow, they are dancing. Let me zoom in a little bit. 3 of them. There's 3. I'm going to have to put this on Reddit. We're starting this trip off with a bang, aren't we? This is speculative, but I think it's important to note that there are theories suggesting that the phenomenon is attracted to electromagnetically charged areas, and that it could help them reveal themselves or manifest easier. And there is a moderate reading in this area, and as you can see, there's no interference, there's no power lines. So I do think this is probably a natural spot that is charged, but